So, hi everybody, and welcome to another video on your psychic development and growth. As you know, my name is Linda Williams. I'm located in Australia, and I always love to hear from you, where you're from, and of course, your feedbacks. And so, welcome. If you're new to the channel, maybe it would be good if you haven't watched the first and second videos. That could be a good idea because in the second video, I do take you through a meditation to introduce you to a guide. And I do stipulate in that video, as I will all along, that it's really necessary for you to dedicate yourself to what you really want when it comes to working with spirit, and also growing individually and becoming a lot more enlightened. If you know you have gifts and you don't know how to work with them, you don't know what to do, I'm going to today give you a couple of ideas on how to build your relationship with your guide. In the second video, where I took you through a meditation, some of you got back to me and told me how you met a guide, which I was absolutely thrilled for you. But I also had feedback on some saying I didn't get anything. And that's why I'd like you to really watch that second video, because I do explain to you in there how for many, many years I didn't get to know the guides I work with today. However, I had a very powerful intuition. I knew stuff. I'd known I was different since the age of about 10 or 11. I just knew, but I didn't understand. I thought everybody knew these things. I thought everybody felt things, everybody saw things. I never spoke about it because I just thought that was part of being human. Even though I grew up with a spiritual mother who was very wise and also a visionary, a very gifted visionary, I didn't really speak a great deal about things because I was very, very quiet. I was a very quiet person who kept a lot of my thoughts to myself. If you are a little bit like that, you're very much, and this is not somebody who's introverted. I'm far from introverted, I can assure you. But when you feel introverted, it's a lot of it's lack of confidence. I've never had lack of confidence, so it's a different thing altogether. But a lot of very intuitive children, people who from a very young age see things, sense things, they are very much, can be very much within themselves, very much like the hermit, because it's just the way that their personality is. It's just the way part of their intuitive path is as well. So if you didn't connect with a guide in that first video, please persevere. For years, I went to meditations. For years, I studied. For years, I did this work. But it was later on that the true connections came in, and I became wiser. I became wiser. I became more intuitive and more trusting. And that's the big one, I think, is the trust. It's sometimes many of us say, well, is that my thoughts, or is that spirit talking to me? And that's where a lot of people struggle. And hopefully we can eliminate that struggle for you as we go through these various teachings. They're free. This is my purpose. For many, many years, I held weekly classes where I taught people how to connect to spirit, how to work with spirit, how to do this work, to become tarot readers, become healers, energy workers. I'm a certified crystal facilitator, so I studied for quite some years, studying crystals, and of course, I'm a Reiki master, and you know, I've done many other things. But my energy, I'm an energy worker, so I pick up on energy. You probably do too, and I try very hard to keep my energy in a very positive, loving way. And that's really what my videos are all about, helping you to learn to go into that path of self-discovery, finding the beauty within yourself, the loving part of you that exists big time, and working with that energy throughout your life and putting out that energy towards others, towards yourself, and shining a light. Just being there, being that wonderful empath, that sometimes verbal healer, understanding, compassionate, and loving human being. Today, I want to talk to you about some of the tools you can use to help you to connect to spirit. These are the tools you will give your guide. I'm going to say guide because if you did the second video and you met a guide, that's the guide we'd like you to start working with. Over the years, others may come forth, let themselves be known to you. But at the moment, we want to concentrate on building up a relationship with one guide. And I want you to have faith that that guide, that one guide has been chosen from your spirit team to begin this journey with you. So please have faith. Even if you can't feel them, just have faith that they are there and they're going to try very hard to work with you and the tools that you give them. So let's talk about a couple of things that work to help you to draw in your energy when it comes to build your energy when it comes to working with spirit. I always say to you, it's very important that you always keep yourself grounded. Keep yourself grounded. When you go into any work, you can also sit very quietly and say, I am grounded to Mother Earth and I am safe. And you can say that 3 times. I am grounded to Mother Earth and I am safe. When you say that, you think of your feet firmly on the ground, being grounded. Now, I held a class, I can remember many years ago, I held a class and we did a test. And I said to all of my students, okay, we're going to say to Spirit, or say to ourselves, I am grounded to Mother Earth and I am safe. They held their feet on the floor. Some of them took their shoes off, some didn't. It wasn't necessary. The exercise was to prove the power of mind, body, soul communication. So we said, we closed our eyes and we said, I am grounded to Mother Earth and I am safe. Think about your feet. Feel yourself grounded firmly into the floor through your feet. And after we did that for about a minute, just thinking about that, I said to them, you should not be able to lift your feet now. Try and lift your feet. Try and lift one foot, and they couldn't. Try and lift the other foot, and they couldn't. Try and lift your feet, and they couldn't. They had firmly grounded themselves to Mother Earth. It wasn't scary. It was proof that we tell ourselves what we tell ourselves our body believes. And then I said to them, okay, think about your feet. I'm free now to move forth. And straight away they were able to lift their feet. So when you say, I am grounded to Mother Earth and I'm safe, you could be hanging on to a piece of black tourmaline, a piece of jet. There are lots of crystals actually that are very grounded. I like to use the black crystals of them. I feel are the more powerful when it comes to grounding yourself. And so I've always used black tourmaline. But you could have a piece this big, that big, and it'll still ground you. It doesn't have to be a whopping great big bit like this. I've always used this one with my work. I found it years ago and I just like it, and if I'm doing a reading with somebody, this usually sits at the side, just protecting me. This is a very big protector. And it blocks any energies that coming your way. It doesn't absorb. Black tourmaline assimilates, so it keeps us very, very grounded. It's a beautiful crystal. So that's important that you do. If you're working with spirit, you do ground yourself and you protect yourself. And you can say, before you go into this work, you can say, I ask now for a shield of divine light to be placed in and around me, protecting me from all negative energies, from all negative situations, people, viruses, and germs. You can just say all negative energies if you're in your home about to do a meditation. But or some work like this, but I actually say that every day, ask for my shield of divine light, so that throughout the day, no matter where I go, no matter who I interconnect with, I'm totally protected. And I say that protective prayer each and every day, asking Spirit to help me. So it's very important that you become aware of the fact that as you grow spiritually, you need to protect your auric field, because you're going to shine a lot more. Your light, your auric field will actually glow quite a bit. And, there are energies there out there that we can't see that will see that light, and they need to be deflected. So you need to be protected by your auric, your shield. Your shield needs to protect you. Okay, let's talk about some of the tools today. Just some of the tools you can use when it comes to connecting to spirit, because their energy is very high and ours needs to be built up. But they will use these tools. They will work with them to talk to you and let you know that they are there. If you want to clear the energy around you, another wonderful way, rather than smudging, if you're one of these people that the smell of the smudge is not something that you like, one of the most important things that you can do is actually break up the energy with a bell. Excuse me. Oh, bless me. And I always do 3. Now, the energy now around me has been cleansed, has been cleared. You can get a little bell, you can get a tiny little bell, and it'll still. Spirit loves bells, the church bells. They create a vibration. That was a vibration, as you would have picked that up through the screen. It gives a vibration off. I will never forget the very first time I used that. I've got tingles all through me, and it just obviously cleanse my auric fields. So you can do that all around you. If you have people visiting you and they are negative, and after they go, you think, oh, God, thank God they've gone. Gee, I feel drained. All you do is you ground yourself and say, oh, grounded to Mother Earth. I know I'm safe. I just want to clear my vibrational field. And allow it to run out, and you will feel a difference. You will definitely feel a difference. So you can actually cleanse your home. Use that as a smudging to clean energy out from somebody. And so when they've gone, do that around the room. Do it near the front door. Do it whatever room they were in. Even if they went to the bathroom, do the bathroom. And just know that it does work. So that's just one little tool that you can use to break up negative energy and to clear the air for you to work with spirit, clean up your auric field, getting rid of anything that's around you that may be a little bit negative, or that somebody's put onto you, because we do absorb other people's energy if we're not careful. So everybody, one of the tools that a lot of you have probably seen is the pendulum. I tried to look for my pendulum this morning. I have the most magnificent pendulum, and I could not find it. So I found this. This will do. And this is a pendulum. And this is something that you can actually play with. Now, I will say this. A lot of people get too infatuated by when they talk to spirit. Some people, they use the pendulum, they ask a question, they get a yes, then they ask the question again because they didn't want to hear the yes. There's no point in asking spirit if you don't like the answer, because sometimes no is what you really need to hear. So I'm asking you not to become too pedantic about things like this. However, it's good to use tools. The pendulum that I have, everyone, I actually use in my healing work. So I ask Spirit, because it's a pendulum that nobody else has ever touched. I'm very protective of my tools. I have a deck nobody's ever touched, my pendulums, and this crystal here, for example. I'll show you today. I talked to you today about programming a crystal. This is not, nobody's allowed to touch this, but it doesn't, nobody gets near it anywhere. These are put in a special place. But this is a beautiful healing crystal that's been programmed. And so my tools are very sacred to me, and I really honor them and honor the fact that they are a tool for spirit realm. So they're very important to me. And this will happen with you too. You'll start to get to a stage where you'll pick up something, you'll find a crystal, or you might the pendulum that you're meant to work with, if you don't have one, could find you somewhere. But what I mean by that is you could go to a market and there's a pendulum there and it just jumps out at you. And it could be one of the cheapest things. It could be $10, but there's something about it, and purchase it, because that could be the one that Spirit really wants to work with you through. And so with the pendulum, it's just a matter of letting Spirit know what you expect. When you work with Spirit, you must have solid, sound, specific agreements, okay? Because there's only two answers, yes or no. Spirit can't tell you anything else when it comes to a pendulum, and that's why we then go into using a deck, and I'll talk to you about that soon. But when it comes to a pendulum, it's yes or no. But I use my pendulum actually in my healing work to show me the energy of the chakras of my client, the energy fields. So when they're laying on the table, I'll go over each area and I'll say, could you please show me the energy of this area? And if they go anti-clockwise like this, then I know, oh, gee, I've got a pretty bad energy. There's a bit pretty bad energy in this area. I'm really going to have to work on that for my client. And then, and if it goes clockwise, then that's not too bad. But I usually use the clockwise to let me know after I've done my healing how we've done, and what's the improvement. So this is where I use my pendulum these days. When I first began studying many moons ago, I did try the pendulum for the yes and no, but I soon progressed on to other things to work with my guides. And that was mainly, the tarot and building my intuition, where I just knew the answers anyway. But to begin with, why not try the yes and no? Because this gives you a chance to work with your guide and your guide to talk to you. And what you can do is you can ask questions, and you have to be very specific with the pendulum. The spirit can't give you a sentence. They can only give you yes and no, or sometimes they can just shake, and the shake is, if it shakes and you don't get a yes or a no, what they're saying to you is it could go either way. There isn't a real yes and no solution at that time. For example, if you've put in for a job and you're waiting to hear back from the people, and you say, am I going to get this job, Spirit? Spirit knows that there's a possibility that the decision hasn't been made yet. And so at the moment, it's still in the air, so to speak. And so they may just, they may just shake this, or sometimes it doesn't move at all for some reason. And it isn't the spirit doesn't know your future. Certain things need to happen in life that spirit doesn't interfere with. So why not try this out? Ask spirit and say, clockwise is yes. You see how I'm holding it? I've just got it in between that little bead there. That's just in between my finger. So I don't want to give it any influence. So this is clockwise. Okay, now try not to move here. Okay, just give us a nice big spin, can you? Just to show everybody. Nice big spin. Yes, we want to hear yes. And thank you. And I always stop it and say thank you. Now, how about the so anti-clockwise is going to be no. So we're going to ask Spirit. We're just going to say, can you show us anti-clockwise, please? And then you see how he's just gently bringing that around. See that there? Just doing it nice and gentle. That's anti-clockwise. I'm trying very hard to. I want you to have faith that the biggest thing with when you work with spirit, when you work with the pentacle, with this is uh, you've got to try and get yes and no out of your head, because you don't want to be thinking yes, you want the answer to be yes. Your spirit's got to say the answer. So spirit's got to tell you what it really is. And so you see how now he's going into yes. He's saying to me, of course, because I'm a channel now after all these years, my guide is saying, yes, it's important that you point out to them that they need to ask a question, and then they need to take their head away from the question. And so he's saying, for example, is my name Linda? This is how you'd start, is my name Linda? And of course my name's Linda. I know that my name is Linda. And so naturally it's going to have a nice big yes. But you could also be influencing that a little bit because you know your name is Linda. But it's a good way to actually get the feel of the pendulum. It's a really good way of getting the feel. Uh, am I uh, am I a female? And of course, it's going to say yes. It's going to say. You see how it's you see how it starts to go backwards and forwards to get back into alignment. Now it's going to go into yes again, of course, because we know that I'm a female. But you can watch on YouTube, you can watch these spinning like mad, people that have worked with them for years and have a really powerful connection, and they can spin like this, and yours could start spinning like that too. If you can also hold, if you have a bead at the top, if you have this little bead at the top, it's good because you can just hold the bead, and if you're holding the bead, you've got no control over the chain, and it's spirit that moves the chain. And so practice with, you know, you can ask questions that you know the answer to start with. Do I have four brothers? And Spirit said, well, no, you've got four brothers. He's saying no because I've only got two brothers, so I should have asked something different. So do I have one sister? Do I have one sister? Can you show me, please? And of course, he's going to say, well, yes, of course you do. Yes, you have one sister. And then you ask in a way of, can you, Spirit, you always ask, Spirit, can you please? You always be very respectful, everybody. I mean, you must respect your guides. You must honor them because they are much more higher level than we are. They are a true ascendings. And so you must show respect and honor them at all times. Please don't ever be disrespectful to your guide. So try this. You can make up your own pendulum. You can make up anything that. Yes, he's saying yes. We deserve to be respected. He's just saying to me, yes, we deserve to be respected. And you will get to the stage where I am, everybody. You will get to that stage where you will be talking with your guide, and he will talk to you or she will talk to you. And when they do, you don't ignore them. I've just shared what he was saying to me because I share because I'm talking to you. And so try this out, try it out. And if you want to, if you've got friends who are like-minded like you and they love all this sort of thing, you can all have a go together, and you can get your friend to ask a question. You can say, anyone, you can say, would you like to ask a question? And if they ask a question, let's say they have put in they put in some paperwork to rent a property, hypothetically. You can say, okay, Spirit, is Mary is Mary going to be successful in her application for to rent? And you must specify the address, because if you're asking, will Mary get into a rental property? Well, she might be getting into not this one, but one other one. So, Spirit, you need to help them to be specific. So, if Mary's put in an application for a place, you get the address, and that's what you say. Spirit, is Mary going to move into 10 Black Street? Is Mary going to be successful in her application to rent 10 Black Street? You know, Springwood, you know, and you make it very, very specific. And that's important to say exactly what Spirit. You need to say exactly. You can't just say to Spirit, is Mary going to get that house that she's just applied for? Because Spirit's going to say, well, Spirit knows that she's going to get a house that she's going to apply for, but Spirit may know, well, it's not this one, but it's the next one. So it makes it hard. So you may not get a yes or no. You could get this shaking where you need to tell Spirit more. So you need to say it differently. Okay. You can't say, what year am I going to get married? Spirit can't give you the year. But you can say, Spirit, will I get married in 1926? Or am I going to get married next year? Or Bob and I are going to get engaged next year? Is Bob going to ask me to marry him soon? And you can ask, and Spirit knows who Bob is. And that's a simple question, isn't it? And they'll probably say yes if they know that that's what's on the agenda. They know that part of your journey. So the pendulum's it's a fun tool. The Spirit likes working with it. But it's very restricted in some ways, but it's a good way to connect to your guide, because when you're doing this, what I want you to do, I want you to be aware of your guide. I want you to be aware of the fact you've got somebody talking to you here. Okay, they're talking to you. And so this is how you build up the energy and you start to recognize that energy. And what you can do is you can close your eyes, hold the pendulum, close your eyes, and be aware of your energy field and where spirit is coming through to you. Okay. And you say, can you please show me the answer that is yes? Can you show me yes? And they will know, because clockwise is yes. There's only two, clockwise, anti-clockwise, as far as yes and no goes. And so can you please just show me yes, so that I can feel you as you work with me? And be patient. Be patient, you know. One of my daughters, she uses the pendulum quite a bit. She has her cards as well, but she loves the pendulum. And if it's a yes or no, she'll just use the pendulum. And she's done that for years, and she's got quite a powerful connection. Her and her guide have got a pretty powerful connection, because this is a tool she uses all the time. It's not just sometimes. The pendulum I have is quite long. It's a clear quartz. I'm sorry I couldn't find it. It'll probably find me. I've asked Spirit to help me to find it. They'll help me to find it. But the one I've got is quite long, and it's a clear quartz. So it's being programmed, because clear quartz is the one that you can program. And I use it with my healing, so I use it quite a lot. And every time that I'm doing a healing, when I'm not using it, it goes around my neck, because it's a big long chain. It comes down to here, to my sacral area. So it's the energy's with me all the time. But you can get one like this, or you can make one. This is something I made, actually. This is a little crystal pendulum. I did a little bit of wire work, some jewelry wire work. I was learning how to twist jewelry. I made this years and years ago, actually. So it's got some copper wire, and I could just put that on this chain, or a chain like that. And because it's a clear quartz, it can be programmed, and it would work really, really well with me and my guide. It doesn't take long for a guide to start to build up the energy in the quartz between you and them, because that also happens, everyone. A guide will start, the guide that works with you with your pendulum will be the same guide. And so that pendulum is getting used to the energy of the guide, and the guide is putting their energy into it all the time. So it becomes quite a powerful tool when it comes to working with spirit. And so it's good to have a pendulum that you've programmed, a good pendulum that you've introduced to spirit as a tool that they can use with you to connect and to build a rapport and a trust as well. Now, I wanted to also talk to you about other tools that you can use when it comes to working with spirit. And programming a crystal, the clear quartz crystals, everyone, are piezoelectrical. So they are alive. You know, if you look up the benefits or the uses of crystal quartz, you'll see that they're used in radios, they're a lot of electrical things. It's really quite amazing. And it's a well-known fact that the human body is very much water, and the fluid that runs through us, very many people believe that it's very much like a crystal. It's that we are crystal beings within. The spirit that is within us is a crystal being. And I do believe that too, that we are very much a different component when it comes to spirit. We are just the vessel that carries that spirit that lives within us. And so when we do pass away and the spirit leaves the vessel, it is in essence like a crystal ball that leaves, they call them orbs, of course, that leaves the body. So the spirit that lives within us it forms like a crystal, a round crystal ball, and leaves the body and goes back to its original source, which of course some people call heaven, but different place. If you would like to program a crystal, it doesn't matter what size it is. You can. I have this one too, which is a healing wand. I found this, and it just has a little indent in it here that fits my thumb perfectly. I picked it up, and my thumb went in there. So this is another crystal that I use for healing. I remove energy from somebody. When after I've done the pendulum, I go in and I work, and I swirl that area, and this will actually draw energy out from the client, which is then flicked off into a bowl of salted water. So this is a healing wand that I use, but again, it's a very beautiful piece of crystal that is very, very special. And you may come across something like this and you're drawn to it. If you are, even if you're not doing healing now, it doesn't matter if it yells at you and you pick it up and you just know, you just have this feeling, you know, that you really need to buy it. It's probably the crystal talking to you and saying we need to work together, because there is an energy field and there's something magical when it comes to crystals. They really are beautiful, and very often there could be, the energy of this crystal could suit one of your guides perfectly. They could resonate very much with this crystal, and that's why they want you to get it. So, and they very often make it very affordable because they know they need to do that as well. So let's talk about programming. Well, the very first thing you would do, of course, if you buy a crystal and it's been wrapped up for you, when you unwrap it, take it outside to unwrap it. Try not to unwrap it inside. You're probably thinking, well, why on earth would you do that? Look, everybody, I've been around in this game a long time, and I have witnessed some things, and I have seen something fly out of a crystal. I'm not going to frighten you at all because it didn't hurt me, but the thing is that sometimes they do pick up a negative vibrational energy field. That is very much a real thing. And so it's good to open them up outside and then just give them a little rinse under a tap and pop them in a glass, a cup or a bowl with some salty water for the day. You don't do that with selenite. Selenite's a different story altogether. I'll talk to you about selenite one day. It's one of the most powerful healers. But with your crystals, no matter which crystal they are, make sure you wash them, let them soak in some salty water, or you can, if you want to, you can. I will get my piece here. This piece here is I use this quite a lot. This is selenite, and I actually will pop crystals on there, and the selenite cleans them straight away. And if I'm doing a lot of work and I'm using a lot of crystals during the day, I don't have time to clean them all. And I've worked with them, so I'll pop them on. I've got big rods of selenite, and I'll just pop my crystals on the selenite, and the selenite cleanses them straight away. And you don't put selenite outside. Wash it. You don't wash it. You can put it out in the full moon, but you don't wash selenite. It's a perfect crystal to have in the home. Cleans all your crystals. If you've got crystals around the place, get some little pieces of selenite every so often, pop them next to each other, let the selenite touch the crystal, and it'll be cleansed. So it's very important to keep your crystals clean and to clean them when you first buy them. So after you've soaked them in salty water for a few hours, whatever, if you want, that'll do. Give them a good wash again. Give them a good wash. It's nice if you can put them out in the rain too sometimes. And the reason you clean it and put it on the selenite is because the full moon may not be there for a few weeks, and you want to put it under a full moon to fire it. But the selenite will cleanse it all the way through. Now it's ready to use, so you can program it. And to program your crystal, it's very much a case of meditating, sitting quietly with the crystal. This is something that is very much a ritual when it comes to your belief systems. So we must honor this beautiful crystal. We must honor if we're going to ask for it to help us and to help us in healing or making decisions or protecting us, whichever way you wish to use it. And also with your intuition, you might just want to design one or program one to help you with your intuition. If you're trying to make a decision, you just hold your crystal that you've programmed, and you sit quietly and ask, can you please guide me intuitively which way to go here? And this crystal will intuitively guide you in a much more powerful way than just your normal intuition, because that's its job. It knows I need to do this because Linda's programmed me and asked me to be of service and to help her with her decision making. So what you would do is you would take the time to sit quietly, and it's important, so important that you knock that damn phone off. Sorry, everyone, but please get the phone out of the room. I would never have my phone in here with me now, never in a million years. I wouldn't do that. It's out in the dining room. My husband can answer it if it rings. I'm not interested. I'm doing this, and that's how I think when it comes to electronics. So turn your phone off. You won't die. Honestly, people, I'm not being disrespectful to you, but there are some of us, some, not me included, but some people who honestly, they never turn their phone off. They think they can't live without it. They spend all their time checking their phone every 5 minutes. We all see it. It's a fact of life, no judgment. But when you're working with spirit, we must respect them and know that the energy of the phone is very, very negative. There's an energy in that phone that's not good for you. And I'll talk to you down the track when it comes to the protection of these energies so that you can keep yourself clean. That'll be another video I do on protection and what you need to do to keep yourself protected all the time. But at the moment, I want to talk to you about programming. So you just find time. I'm going to trust that you're going to knock your phone off. Find time to sit quietly where you know you won't be disturbed. And you pick up your crystal. You pick up your crystal and you have a really good look at it, really look into it. Some of them are just so beautiful. You can sometimes see something in a clear quartz, especially one this size. Sometimes you can see something magical. It's hard with this, but sometimes you can just see something. You can look in a crystal and you can see a body, a head, could just see something different, a tree, and you can look at it tomorrow and see something else. It's they're very beautiful. And when you've put it out in the full moon, the next day, you'll be surprised at the colours and the rainbows that will have come out. And so that's why I say if you find something, you come across something, and you pick it up, and it's just, oh my God, I've got to have this. It doesn't have to be a clear quartz, but clear quartz is much easier to program. If you can afford to get it, then get it because it's obviously calling to you. So take the time, sit quietly, find the time for yourself and the crystal. And, I'm hoping that you've been sitting with your guide each day by this time and just connecting because, you can just sit quietly or you can, when you wake up in the morning, everyone, just be aware that your guide is about 3 meters away from you, probably in a corner. They're usually about 3 to 4 meters from us. And just to connect and say good morning. Thank you for looking after me. And I'm looking forward to our day together. That's acknowledging them. If you acknowledge your guide each and every day, they will be very, very grateful, believe you me. And it does take you just that acknowledgement takes you up a little bit more in your growth, believe you me. So we sit quietly and we ask, we say, Spirit, I want to be able to program this beautiful crystal, and I'd like to ask the crystal if it will work with me. I'd like to ask you if you would like to work with me. And I trust that you will guide me wherever I go, and then you can decide what you would like. So when I programmed this, I said, I would like it if could you please be a healing crystal? Could you help me with my healing work? Could you please remove the negative energies from my clients? And while I was doing that, I said, and with that, what I'm asking is that when I work with you in an anti-clockwise, that you will draw the negative energy from my client so that it can be removed. And when we work clockwise, you will put in the energy of spirit, and divine light. And so I just talked to my crystals, I just talked to them and asked them specifically, or tell them specifically what I would like them to do with me, or how to work with me. And so you can say, things like, I'd like you to please guide me intuitively in all areas of my life. You can ask that. If I'm uncertain about anything, when I pick you up, can you intuitively guide me and allow me to feel what is right? And you can then say, if I feel warmth and a steadiness and a calmness in my auric, in my sacral, I know that it is the right thing to do. If you feel it's not correct for me, can you give me a heat that feels uncomfortable? So these are the sorts of things you can say, as if you're talking to someone. You're actually talking to someone because you're talking to a beautiful spirit being that will actually work through this crystal, because that's exactly what happens. And so you have to have faith and trust that one of your guides, it could be the guide that you've already met, will actually take on the job of working with this crystal. This crystal has a female energy. It has a female guide that comes forth. If I set up, I'm setting up my table to work with someone or to do a reading or something like that, even if it's a Zoom or a phone reading. And I put this crystal it's sitting on the shelf still. I haven't yet put it on the table, and I've forgotten to put it on the table. It calls to me, it says, don't forget me. And all of a sudden it comes into my mind, oh, my main crystal, where is it? Oh, I haven't brought it out yet. I haven't put it on the table. So this crystal calls to me. Very rare I forget, because when I'm setting up my table, this is the one I pick up first. this is the one I pick up second. And of course, I always have my protective. So these are the three crystals I use when I'm doing my work, when I'm doing readings, because they're there to intuitively guide me and to protect me. But many years ago, when I first programmed this, because I've had her for a long, long time, many moons. Um, I used to do my readings in a different room, but I had my crystals and my tarot deck in another room, and so I'd often set my table up and I'd forget her. And she'd scream at me, "Hey, don't forget me." And she would come in my head and I'd hear, "Don't forget me." And I'd straight away, I'd know. And honestly, people, you will experience things like this when you start to connect to one of your guides, and when you start to build up this amazing relationship where you can actually hear them. Okay, you know it's them talking to you. You will experience things like this where they talk to you and guide you and remind you of things. And even if you lose something, you can't find something, like I couldn't find my pendulum. I've already asked, can you let me know where it is, will you? Because I've put it somewhere in an awkward spot. I've obviously put it somewhere. I can't remember where it's gone, but they will let me know when I'll be looking for something else over the next couple of days, and my pendulum will turn up instead. That's how it happens. So to program a crystal, take the time to sit quietly, get to feel the energy of each other. Allow yourself to feel the energy of this beautiful, beautiful gift from our Creator, and feel its vibration. Feel, how do you feel when you hold it? You could get goosey bumps. You could just feel calm, and just spend time holding it before you say, "I'd like you to please work with me. I'd like you to work with me and to guide me with my decisions, guide me with my journey. I'd like you to be a part of my journey and part of my life. And would you please guide me with everything that I need to know?" And you just sit quietly together. And then you put it in a place where you know nobody will pick it up. You don't want somebody else's energy around it. You put it in a private place. You could put it at the side of your bed. You could do that, or put it in your bedroom. Mine stays in my studio here, because they just stays here, doesn't come out. And I use it. When I use it, I know where it is. It's usually sitting on this table here anyway. Usually stays on this table. This is where they belong. This is where they usually are. And so pop them in a place where nobody else can touch them. Don't allow other people to touch your private crystals, people. Please don't, because they're very sacred to us. They want to work with us, and when you work with them and you use them to heal, your client is not going to touch them. You're the one that's going to be working with them. These are your tools. Yours. This is a tool for me and my guide, and this is one of the ones we use to remove negative energy and to put in the good energy. I always use this one here. This is a healer, and she brings in the divine light through to heal that area of my client. So take your time. It's nothing. Programming in a crystal. It's no big elaborate ceremony, but it's still a sacred thing. Too many people create myths and belief systems, that you've got to say this and you've got to do that. Look, spirit is a real a person. A spirit exists in a different energy. That's all. And so we just need to talk to them. Just talk to them like we would talk to anyone. And our crystals are the same. They're real. They're a real person. It's not a chunk of. It's not a bit of dirt. It's not a bit of stone or rock. It's but people call them a rock. I shudder. They're magical. They really are very magical. They're very special. And the city of Atlantis um, had altars, many areas that were actually made from crystal. And the beautiful guide that's behind me here, hello, miss. it was a crystal. He was the chancellor of Aluma, a country that actually does exist, and he was a crystal worker, crystal healer. And so these places existed in our history, and crystals have always been around. The Egyptians were very much into the crystals. A lot of cultures use crystals for their religious beliefs and their altars and so on and so forth. And the clear quartz, of course, has always been a very, very powerful crystal. So if you would like to give us some comments, if you'd like to give me a comment or you'd like to ask any questions or make any, if there's anything you'd like to know, we have that comment section. You can go in there and ask. So just sit quietly. As I said, just talk to the crystal. Just talk, ask what it is. Maybe you'd like to just program to begin with to intuitively guide you, help you to build your intuition up, build your trust, and guide you. And whenever you need to make a decision, you can sit with that crystal and say, I've got this decision. I'm a bit uncertain about this, and have a chat to the crystal. You tell the crystal what's going on as if you were talking to your mum or your dad. Say, I've got this situation and I don't know what to do. Could you guide me? And every day you pick it up. You pick it up every day and you say, I'd like to thank you for everything you do for me. I'd like to thank you for your guidance, your intuitive guidance. I appreciate you helping me. And you show your respect and honour. And then you can pop it down, go to work for the day. It's safe at home. Don't take them everywhere with you. Please don't do that. It's not a good idea. Unless you're going somewhere special. Recently, I did a trip and I did wrap her up in some bubble wrap and take her with me because I knew I was going to be doing some readings. I never not do my work without my 3 crystals, so I did wrap them and take them with me because I was going to be away for a while. But I don't. When I go out, I have other little crystals and things, but this one stays at home on my table. They're safe here. Nobody's allowed to touch them. And that way they work, they know just me, they work just with my energy. So I hope that helps when it comes to programming a crystal. Selenite, please get some selenite, one of the most wonderful crystals to remove energy again, to connect to spirit. This will clean your auric field. It's they're really. I'll talk about selenite another day because today I want to talk to you about another tool for connecting to your guides and your teachers, and that is, of course, the tarot deck. And when we want to ask a question, when we need answers, but it's not just a yes or a no. Sometimes 3 cards can give us the answer. So if you have a deck at home, and I'm sure many of you do, all you have to do is ask Spirit the question. Or you know what I do every morning? Every single morning, I have my this old tatty old deck. That's my private deck, and again, nobody touches it but me. And this is not the deck I use for with my clients come to me for a reading. I have another deck. This one only I touch. And every morning I ask my lady guide who handles the decks, so she's in charge of all my decks. I ask her for my morning question, my morning card. She gives me one card, just one, my daily message. And she's given me the victory card. Today I will, good news is on its way. That's the message she's giving me today. I'm waiting for some news. So she's saying there's going to be a victory. Good news is on its way. Public recognition or rewards. So this is about me being told that, the public will appreciate what I'm doing here. That's how I've interpreted that. So get a deck and every morning, ask Spirit, can you give me my daily message, please? And just one card. Just ask. And that is another way of building up your reputation with your guide. You're inviting them in, you're acknowledging them, and you're trusting them in what they're saying to you. And if you just choose one card every morning and that resonates with you, at the end of the day, you think, wow, that message, wow, that made sense. Trust is built, faith is built in your connection, and that spirit can't lie to you. It's impossible. And if you if you choose, if you, for example, what I do, I go in and I allow my hand to be guided. I don't just take the top one. I've never done that. I've always gone in, even when you watch me do my readings on my YouTube channel, you'll see that I always choose the cards like that because my guide is choosing them. My guide, she's running my hand. She's putting out what I want. So allow spirit to guide, allow your guide to choose the deck that she wants or he wants to give you. It's important that you do that. If you shuffle and just take the top one, if they want you to take just the top one, they'll tell you. You'll get top. You'll just feel, oh, I've got to take the top one. So you take the top one. But most of the time, if you cut, she'll give you, he will give you, they will give you the one that you need. I say she because I have a lady who runs my decks. But if you want to just learn how to build up a relationship with your guide, and again, build this energy between you, this relationship. This is a very strong relationship, a very powerful relationship that turns into unconditional love and faith and trust. And that's exactly what it becomes. And there is an energy, a beautiful energy of affection that does grow between you and your guides over the years. And when you start to work with them on a daily basis and acknowledging them with these little gestures, it becomes much more powerful, a lot quicker. So why not each day just ask a question instead of just that one for your daily guidance? You might come home from work and say, oh, is that issue about so and so going to be fixed? And so you choose. You say, and you ask spirit, can you give me a message? And you just ask for 3 cards, and then you have a look and see what spirit has given you for your answer. And then if you've got a little book that goes with the deck, which if you haven't tried to do tarot yet, you've got a little book there. You get the book out and you read what they're saying. And remember that each card is a story. So this is how spirit will know that to give you the message, they know and understand that these 3 cards are talking to each other. Okay? So that's something else that you must say to your guide. I'm going to choose 3 cards that will talk to each other to give me my answer, please. Those 3 guides will, and those 3 cards will give you your answer. And then you can interpret and learn how to interpret what spirit is saying to you by reading the little book that comes with the cards. And again, another way of giving your guides a tool to connect with you, to learn to work together. So there's so many things you can do if you're really serious about connecting to spirit. This is not saying you need to become a tarot reader. I know a lot of people who are not tarot readers, but they own a couple of decks because they love their decks and they use them to connect to spirit and get guidance. I know hundreds of people, probably thousands really over the years that I've connected with that have come to me for guidance. But they say, yeah, I do actually have a deck. I don't know how to do tarot readings, but I have a deck and I ask for guidance through my deck. And that's what you can do. You can build up this relationship. And you may be a doctor, a lawyer. You've got your beautiful career, but this is where you've got that other side of you, that spiritual side of you that you'd like to develop a bit more and to also connect with those who walk with you in spirit so that they can guide you on your journey of career and love and everything else. And so if you would like to build this relationship, a deck, a tarot deck, and I would recommend the original Rider-Waite tarot, but it's your choice. You can get this deck that I have here, it has little messages on the bottom. So you may find a deck in a shop and it's got all these little messages, and it's like, oh, wow, that makes sense. I love that. And you may buy that deck, and then Spirit will get used to using that. And it takes a little while for Spirit to and you to get used to these decks, working with them together. So Spirit's also got to, utilize these decks and get to know these decks as well. They're a tool you're giving Spirit. So Spirit has to also start to get used to the deck and know how to guide your hand and give you what you need, the message that you need, and then you can have fun. And even the Spirit loves to work with you, so they would love it if you have friends over and you say, "Oh, let's have a little play around with the deck." Spirit would love that. They say, "Oh, this is good. I can give everybody a little bit of guidance because that's what I do. I'm a spirit guide and I guide people and give guidance to your friends." And yeah, and so it's not a matter of just using it as a fun thing or a game. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that it's a tool. Spirit would love to work with you, and Spirit loves to give guidance to you and also anybody else on the earth plane. They love to guide and look after humanity and protect you and look after you on your journey. And so that's the way it is. So today we've talked about some of the tools that you can use to connect to Spirit, how you can clean up your own auric field and those of others with the little bells. It breaks up the energy. Uh, Programming crystals, wonderful way of again giving another tool to Spirit to work with, and just starting to build this connection, build this knowing together, build up this relationship, this loving, wonderful relationship that you will both enjoy very much so. So I hope today has helped. The most important thing when it comes to your spiritual growth is actually the trust that you do need to build with Spirit, with your guides. And that's why it's important that we just trust that there is one guide there at the moment that wants to work with you. The second video that I did, and I took you through that meditation. Even if you didn't get anything at the first time, please persevere, because you will get a breakthrough. I understand how frustrating it can be, but believe you me, when I first began training, going to a spiritual church, joining a spiritual group for meditation, so on, I didn't feel, even though I'd been told about a couple of guys that walked with me at the time, I didn't feel them. I didn't really when I did healing on people, my hands would be very hot and tingly when I laid my hands on anybody. But when it comes to somebody standing next to me and feeling their presence, that took quite a while for that to actually eventuate. Even though I just knew that Spirit was with me. It took a while because so I just relied on the intuitive knowing that I was born with it, that we all have this gift of intuitively just knowing, intuitively just having the answer in our mind, just knowing what the outcome will be, knowing what we need to say. And that again is the way Spirit will often work with us until we build up our energy to feel them a lot more powerfully. And having that knowing, having that intuition is all you need. Once you start to build this relationship up, that will take you through each and every day of your life. They will be able to communicate with you much more easily when you've got your vibration up to a level of faith, trust, and daily acknowledgement and connection with Spirit. So acknowledge them. Say hello to them every day, and let them know that okay, I would love to feel your energy. Do that video that I did, the meditation. Do it and have faith. It doesn't matter what the outcome. When you persevere, when you are genuinely wanting to do good in the world, when you're genuinely wanting to help the world, be that empath, and when you are empathic towards all the negatives that are in the planet. You've got a good heart, soul, and you just have this feeling that you're meant to do something special. When you have that in you, then please persevere with working with spirit, because those feelings are well and truly true, and you could move mountains. You could make some big, big changes on our planet, and you could also be helping a lot of people along the way as well. You never know what path they've got planned for you. Sometimes those doors won't open for years to come, and when they do open, it will be absolutely magical, and you'll have this strong connection and powerful relationship with your beautiful team, your spirit team, and certain guides, special guides that they're all special, but you ones that you work with on a daily basis. So I hope this has helped you a little bit in your growth, and some of the things that you maybe like to take into consideration. As I said, please comment if this has helped you in any way or encouraged you in any way. A like would be wonderful. Would you like to subscribe so that you get these regular updates on how to work with spirit, how to work with crystals, how to work with the decks, all these things that help you to build your vibrational field, build your power, your beautiful spirit power that you possess. Um, that would be wonderful. It'd be lovely to be able to guide you. All of these videos are free. Uh, this is what I do, and I'm more than happy to help you to grow grow on your path, and to become more enlightened, and to learn how to work with the spirit realm. There's so many things we can do together. There are so many different kinds of meditations that will hoping to bring to you. We'll do a meditation one day on how to, to cleanse and rebalance your whole essence in and out. We'll do one of those one day. They're pretty full on, but it'll take you to a different place where we can shift energies, um, so that we move things out so that you can in fact become more enlightened. There's lots and lots of things that fortunately I've got that I can offer now that I'm at this stage in my life where I've been working with spirit for a long, long time, a long time. And so, everybody, it was lovely to be with you here today. I hope this hasn't gone on too long. It's very easy to get carried away with it all, isn't it? But you might like to watch some of it and then watch the rest later, or watch it a few times. But look at the second video I did, the meditation one, on how to connect with your guide, and be patient. Please be patient. Uh, I was patient for a long time, and I never gave up. I never gave up hope and faith, and I never doubted, because I had a very powerful intuition. I knew that was how spirit was working with me anyway. It's only years down the track then I had this connection of I was aware of them standing next to me, and I could hear them talking to me and things like that. So thank you for being with us today, everyone. We look forward to hearing from you and getting your feedback, and I look forward to the next time that we get together. So bye bye for now. Bye bye. All my love.